Hey guys, welcome to Tuesday Talks with the Green Bay Doulas. I'm Emily Jacobson. We're continuing our month of pregnancy and bereavement loss, and I have Miss Lydia with me. And Lydia is going to share her story of what it's like with being pregnant after loss. So Lydia, please tell us your story.
Yeah, so just over a year ago, I was pregnant with my first pregnancy, and at one of our first ultrasound appointments, we found out that it was twins, but that they were both gone. There was no heartbeat. And so walked through that for months, and then in April, we found out we're pregnant again, and so we're expecting a little baby girl in January.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
So you and I have talked a lot behind the scenes about this video and what we want to do. And so we wanted to really break it down and help people with etiquette, I think was the big word. So things to say. You are a family of 5, not a family of 3.
Correct. Yes, we are.
And what are some things that you wish people would not say to you, and what would be the right thing they could say to you? Because I think that's the huge thing, is people want to say something comforting, and then it's like, bleh,
Right.
and it comes out so wrong and semi-offensive.
Totally. And we've all done it, right?
Yeah.
But I think that if there was one thing to communicate overall, like, you don't have to fix it. You don't have to make it not sad. It is sad. It is hard. And we're just going to be there. And the thing is, I will be sad and it will be hard for the rest of my life. I will always wonder what it would have been like to have our twins as a part of our family. And nothing you can say is going to fix that. So let's take the pressure off and stop trying to make it better or sugarcoat it. So, I've had people, like I was telling you, Emily, say things while I'm talking about my twins and how I miss them. But now you're going to be a beautiful family of 3. Or you're going to be such a great mom. But I am. And it's not a family of 3. We're a family of 5. It's okay to still acknowledge the loss while celebrating the good stuff.
Yeah. And we had also talked about just people not correlating their stories with you when you share. When I tell people I'm a doula, you can imagine they're going to tell me every single one of their birth stories, right?
Yes.
And so I feel like there's some similarities to the fact that when you tell people you've had a loss, if they've had a loss themselves, they feel like that's the open door to flood you with their loss as well.
Yes. And you know what? Some days that's a hard one, because some days it's really nice to be like, oh man, you've experienced this too. I'm having a hard day. Can we talk about it? But I think it depends on how you approach it. Because I've had people, and this is a week, 2 weeks, a month after I lost them. They're crying, sobbing to me about their daughter's stillbirth or their own 7 miscarriages or whatever. And those are really real stories that deserve to be shared, but I can't carry that right then. If you're coming to comfort me, especially in those moments, they were trying to find a way to comfort me, but in doing so, they just added more fear and made me feel like I had to now comfort them, and then I couldn't cry because they were crying.
Sure.
The other thing that I was just thinking about, or just remembered too, is when I first was pregnant and we would tell a few people, or even once we started telling more people, past the 13, 14, 15 week mark, we started feeling a little more comfortable. And people love to be like, well, I just have a feeling that this one's going to be great. And you're like, first of all, you don't know that. And again, second, you don't have to make this all good. I'm going to be scared whether you have a feeling that it's okay or not,
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess that leads to the big question of this Tuesday Talks with you sharing your story is, what is it like to be pregnant after loss?
It's terrifying. There was a time in the, oh my gosh, I don't think I've ever done that math. I don't know how many months it is from September to April, but there was a time in that chunk that I was screaming at my husband on our stairs in our house, guess what? I'm different now and I don't want any kids. We've always talked about, before we were dating, one of the things that connected us was that we always wanted to be parents. Mm-hmm. And I was like, nope, don't want to. Like, I'm done. So I don't know what that means for us, but I can't do this.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the big things is that
Mhm.
when you have a loss, you have to be willing to take that risk that you could have another loss.
Yep.
And that is so hard emotionally to prepare yourself to be that open and vulnerable. And some people move past it, some do not. But it's everyone's individual journey. But yeah, I can't imagine
Yeah.
having that kind of weight. I think
And
that's the word.
I
Like
wouldn't say that I like turned a corner and was like, okay, I'm ready to try now. I think I started, first of all, recognizing like how deeply sad I was when I saw other people pregnant, and started to recognize like, okay, yes, I'm terrified. But I think that feeling is also this like, I really do want to be a mom, and I'm sad that I didn't get to carry my twins to term. Like, and so um, I started to process like, okay, can I do this even in the fear? And do I want to? And started realizing like, yes, I do. I'm just like, terror isn't even the word, like just over the top fear. And of course, then a global pandemic happens. And then I started being like, okay, really, like the fear is out of control. Maybe we just should wait forever, you know? But eventually we just kind of stopped not trying, if that makes sense.
yep.
And I just still had panic attacks like every month, like maybe I don't want to do this, just kidding, like I change my mind all the time, but I just gave myself the freedom to feel that and communicate that with my husband. And then when I was first pregnant, it was, I mean, the pandemic's happening, my husband had just switched jobs and was having a really hard time in the transition. Our best friends were living with us. Like it was like, okay, this feels like a little crazy timing. And then on top of it, I just was terrified. I mean, like any newly pregnant mom, I mean, I don't think you have to have experienced loss for it to be nerve-wracking at first. And so, you know, overthinking every little thing, being really scared, having to go. So my first ultrasound, my husband couldn't come with me because of COVID. But actually the couple days before, they opened it up and you could bring a support person. And so my best friend went with me, and I thought I was going to throw up the whole day. Like I was so convinced that the ultrasound was going to be bad. And like I had like so convinced that I had like a plan with my husband of like, okay, but you're working farther away today, like you're out of town. So just like have your phone because I'm going to have to call you and then you're going to have to come back. Like I was like sure that it was going to be bad. And then it wasn't. And I was like, oh, I don't know what to do with a good ultrasound. Like it was like, whoa. And so then I kind of pushed it out until my next, like when I had like a, you know, just like a heartbeat appointment and whatever, but still that didn't make me feel great. Like it was like, okay, you heard it, but like anything could happen. Like it just every day was like, I was convinced something bad would happen. And then I had in my head that like, once we got to the 14 week and everything was okay, I would feel much better. And instead I was like, everything's okay. Like, oh my gosh, like, I think I'm having a baby. Like, this is a little crazy. Like, I think I had just convinced myself so much that it wouldn't happen out of fear. And then, I mean, every appointment, I still don't feel better. Like, you know, I'm still like, is she kicking enough? And like, am I eating enough? What if I don't do that? Like, and that again, I think is partially normal and partially just terrifying.
Absolutely. I think that that's very normal for everyone. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you're just doing it but I've been there before and I'm trying to stay present, but my past just follows me right now. And, you know, we say to our clients all the time, like this pregnancy is not like the other pregnancies, so don't carry it with you. But in the same respects, like there's a little bit of difference to it as well. Because there's something different about it, obviously.
And I have to remind myself of that all the time, that all pregnancies are different, because not just like in my experience, but from things I've heard or read, right? Like stories of people who, you know, like anything can happen at any point. I'm not past some point of no return where this means my baby's going to be healthy forever.
Mm-hmm.
And so that plays in my head a lot of like, okay, I've already experienced this loss and I know these people have experienced this kind of loss, so it's possible. And you just walk through that, just reminding yourself every day that they're not all the same. And yes, something could happen, but we'll do that when that happens.
Yeah. So what would be your kind of words to another woman who's out there who maybe has just experienced loss and doesn't know if she wants to ever try again, or another woman out there in your same exact position, but maybe she's a good couple months behind you right now.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to them?
I think my word is freedom. Like, you really have to give yourself freedom to feel what you're feeling. Like, there doesn't have to be guilt. Like, if you're feeling totally excited, like, great, do that. Like, you're not discounting the baby that you lost or the babies that you lost. Like, you're excited for this one. That's okay. If you're feeling like dreading, sad, like whatever you're feeling, have the freedom to feel that, and have the freedom to tell people, even if they don't receive it well or whatever. And like, my husband and I, like I said, is on the stairs screaming, like, no way, I can't do this. So you're gonna have to figure out how to be married to a different person, I guess. Like, I had to talk that out, and we had a lot of talks about it, fights about it, whatever. Like, we just talked and talked and talked and processed, and we felt our feelings.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for sharing your story. And, thank you for sharing your story about your sweet twins as well. And many blessings to you in the weeks ahead as you welcome this sweet baby girl.
Thanks for the invitation, Emily. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. We will see you next week. Bye.